You ever sit there and wonder why the people you loved most suddenly vanished? Why the ones you thought would stay forever just walked away like you meant nothing? Yeah, I know that look, that hollow, quiet ache in your chest. You're replaying it over and over, trying to find the moment it all fell snorts apart. You're asking yourself, what did I do wrong? But listen to me. It wasn't about what you did. It was about what God saw. You think they left because you weren't enough. You think if you just said more, done more, been more, maybe they'd still be here. But the truth is, God took them away because you couldn't see what He saw. He saw the conversations you never heard. He saw the intentions behind their smiles. He saw what would happen if they stayed. You see, you were praying for peace, weren't you? You were asking God to bless your life, to bring you joy, to help you grow. And sometimes the answer to that prayer comes in the form of removal. Not addition, not more people, but less. It doesn't feel fair. I know you wanted loyalty and instead you got loss. You wanted love and you got silence. But that silence, that emptiness you feel, it's holy ground. It's the space God cleared so you could finally breathe again. You just don't realize it yet. You're sitting there crying over who left. But you don't see the hands that were never really holding you. You don't see how much weight God just lifted off your soul. You think you lost them, but really you lost the pain that came with them. The pretending, the anxiety, the overthinking. You just haven't learned to call it freedom yet. God didn't take them because He wanted you to suffer. He took them because He loves you too much to let you settle. They were draining you little by little and you were calling it love. You were mistaking their attention for care, their presence for peace. But God saw the truth. He saw that they weren't growing with you. They were holding you back. And He said, "Enough. I know it hurts. It feels like the rug got pulled from under you. Like your heart's been ripped open. You keep asking why He'd take away the people who made you feel alive. But maybe it's because they were only teaching you how to die slower. Maybe He had to remove what was killing you quietly before it killed your purpose completely. They weren't meant to stay. You were trying to build a lifetime with people who were only supposed to be lessons, temporary chapters, and God. He saw that you were clinging to the pages long after their part was done. So He turned the page for you because you wouldn't. You call it rejection. He calls it redirection. He calls it redirection. You call it loss. He calls it protection. You think you were abandoned, but no. You were delivered from betrayal, from fake loyalty, from people who only loved what you could give them, delivered from the same cycles that broke you before, delivered from becoming someone you're not, just to make others comfortable. You see, sometimes God has to hurt you to heal you. He has to strip away what's not real so you can see what is. He has to break your heart so your soul can wake up. That's what this is, a divine wake-up call, a reminder that you don't need validation from people who can't even love themselves. They left because they had to. You wouldn't have learned the lesson if they stayed. You would have kept giving and giving until there was nothing left of you. You think you needed them to feel whole, but God knew you'd never find yourself until you stood alone. And now look at you hurting, sure, but alive, still breathing, still standing. That's not weakness. That's proof that even after they left, you still have purpose. They weren't your foundation. They were your distraction. And God removed them so He could rebuild you on something real. Something that doesn't shake when people walk away. something that doesn't crumble when others stop clapping. Because not everyone who smiles at you is for you. Not everyone who says, "I love you," means it. God saw the masks you couldn't. He saw what they said about you when you weren't in the room. He saw the jealousy, the envy, the manipulation, the parts they hid behind charm and closeness. And he said, "Not my child. Not anymore. You think losing them broke you. But what if I told you it made you? What if I told you this pain you're feeling right now is the soil God's using to grow you? Every tear is watering your next season. Every lonely night is shaping your strength. Every unanswered text, every door slammed in your face, that's God chiseling away what doesn't belong in your next chapter." You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Prepared for people who won't just take, but pour back. Prepared for love that heals instead of drains. Prepared for peace that stays instead of runs. But you can't see that yet, can you? You're still too focused on what walked away. You're staring at the ashes, wishing for the fire again, but the fire burned you for a reason. You just haven't realized that God was saving you from the same flame you kept running into. I get it. It's hard. The nights are long. The silence is heavy, and every memory feels like a ghost you can't shake. But listen, ghosts can't touch you unless you invite them back in. Stop replaying the past like it's a movie you can change the ending to. They're gone for a reason. Let them be gone. Because here's the truth. If they were meant to stay, nothing could have made them leave. And if they were meant to leave, nothing could have made them stay. That's how divine order works. You can't beg God to bless your life and then get mad when he starts pruning it. You can't ask for peace and expect him to leave your poison untouched. He's not cruel. He's careful. Careful with your heart, careful with your destiny, careful enough to remove what you wouldn't. So stop chasing what he's already released. Stop calling back what he's already buried. You can't resurrect what God already removed. And trust me, if you could see what he saw, you'd be down on your knees thanking him instead of crying. One day you'll understand. You'll look back and see how that heartbreak saved you. How that goodbye cleared the path for your breakthrough. How that silence was the loudest "I love you" from heaven you ever got. God took them away because you were praying for something they couldn't give. He took them away because your destiny was too big for their smallness. He took them away because you were becoming someone they could no longer manipulate. He took them away because peace can't coexist with chaos. And he took them away because you finally deserve better. You don't see it yet, but you will. You'll wake up one day and realize you're lighter. The ache will fade. The memories will stop hurting, and you'll smile. Not because you forgot, but because you finally understand. Understand that every loss was really a lesson. Every ending was really a beginning. Every goodbye was really God whispering, "I have something better." So yeah, it hurts now. It feels unfair. It feels cruel. But one day soon you'll see it clearly. You'll see that God took them away for a reason. And you'll thank him for it, because that reason was you. So here you are, still breathing, still hurting, but something's shifting, isn't it? That ache in your chest, it's still there. Yeah, but it doesn't feel like death anymore. It feels like awakening. Like your soul's trying to stretch after being cramped for too long. That's how healing starts. Not with fireworks, not with some magical peace washing over you. It starts with exhaustion, with the quiet realization that you're tired of carrying what broke you. That's when God steps in. Not when you're strongest, but when you're too tired to pretend you still are. You keep saying, why did he take them? But maybe the real question is, why did you keep them? Even when he kept showing you signs to let go. You saw it, didn't you? The distance, the disrespect, the way their words started to sound hollow, the way you felt small. Every time you tried to explain yourself, God whispered, walk away. But you didn't. You begged. You compromised. You called it love. And when you wouldn't move, he moved for you. That's the thing about God. He'll let you choose until your choice starts destroying you. Then he intervenes. He doesn't always come with thunder and lightning. Sometimes he comes with silence, with unanswered calls, with blocked paths and broken ties. That's him saying enough. You thought you lost control of your life, but maybe you finally lost the illusion of control. And in that loss, you found what's real. You see, God doesn't just remove people. He reveals you through their absence. You start seeing who you were when they were around. The version of you that settled, that dimmed your own light so they wouldn't feel small. The version of you that begged for love, that was supposed to be freely given. Now he's saying, meet the real you. The you that doesn't chase. The you that doesn't explain yourself just to be understood. The you that finally realizes being alone is not punishment. It's preparation. You're not broken. You're becoming that emptiness you feel. It's not the end. It's the echo of everything leaving that was never meant to stay. You think God took something from you, but what if he's actually making room for something greater? That space, that hollow feeling inside. That's where he's about to pour something new, but he can't fill hands that are still gripping the past. Let go. Yeah, I know. It's easier said than done. You keep replaying what could have been, don't you? You keep seeing their face in your mind, hearing their voice in your sleep. You keep thinking, maybe if I just held on a little longer. But that's the trick the past plays. It paints itself prettier than it ever was. Don't fall for it. They didn't leave because you were unworthy. They left because the season was over. And when God ends a season, he doesn't negotiate. You wanted permanence in people who were only meant to be temporary. And you keep wondering why it keeps hurting every time they go. Because you're planting your roots in passing clouds, trying to build forever in places God marked for a while. Listen, sometimes the ones who walk away are not the villains. They're simply the catalysts. They're the reason you grew. They're the storm that broke you open so the light could finally get in. Don't curse them. Thank them. Because even their absence taught you something your comfort never could. You learned what real peace feels like when the noise is gone. You learned what loyalty looks like when there's no one left but you. You learned that you can still stand after the world around you falls apart. And that, my friend, is strength. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that shouts or shows off. The quiet kind. The kind that just keeps showing up even when it hurts. You ever notice how when God removes something, he doesn't replace it right away? That's because he's teaching you to be content in the gap. He's teaching you to depend on him, not on them. He's teaching you how to walk by faith, not by the familiar. See, everyone loves the part where God blesses you. But no one talks about the part where he breaks you first. He breaks your patterns. He breaks your comfort. He breaks the version of you that couldn't carry the next blessing because you can't receive new things with old hands. You keep saying you're waiting on God, but sometimes he's waiting on you to stop reopening doors he already closed, to stop chasing closure from people who never gave you peace to begin with. to stop praying for him to restore what he's already rescued you from. You can't heal in the same place you got hurt. You can't build with people who once broke you, and you can't find peace in the arms that took it from you. That's why he took them to teach you how to love yourself the way you begged him to. Look around. It's quiet now, isn't it? No more fake love. No more chaos disguised as connection. No more walking on eggshells. You call it loneliness. God calls it clarity. This is where you find out who you really are without the noise. And once you do, that's when the right people start to show up. Not the ones who drain you, not the ones who take, but the ones who match your energy, the ones who pour into you like you've always poured into others. That's the promise. But you can't receive them while you're still waiting for the old ones to come back. Stop waiting for an apology that won't heal you. Stop waiting for closure that won't change what happened. You don't need them to understand why they left. You just need to understand why God made them go. And when you do, the pain starts to make sense. You see, peace isn't the absence of pain. It's the understanding that pain had a purpose. It was never random. It was never meaningless. It was training. Training you to recognize what real love feels like. Training you to value yourself. Training you to walk away the next time someone shows you who they are. You're stronger now. You don't see it yet, but you will. Every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered question, it was all part of the refining, because gold doesn't shine until it's been through fire, and you've been through it. But look at you now, still standing, still glowing, still becoming. That's what God wanted, not perfection, transformation. He's not punishing you, he's preparing you. He's not taking things to hurt you. He's taking things so he can hand you better ones. But to receive better, you have to believe you deserve better. You spent so long begging people to see your worth, when all along God was waiting for you to see it first. You kept giving discounts to people who couldn't afford your value. And when he saw you settling, he said, "Enough. My child deserves more." That's love. The kind that protects even when it hurts.